Hello, and thank you for tuning in today. Welcome back to guyhsn's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. If this is working for you, please let us know in the comments in the chat. And please tag a friend who loves tattoos. We're always looking to get new people on here. So if you are interested in participating today, by all means, please feel free to click the Zoom link in the calendar in the artist area of Reinventing the Tattoo. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at both the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Or maybe you're beaming in live from YouTube or Facebook. Maybe you're catching the replays on the Roku channel, reinventingthetattoo.com/Roku. Or maybe you're listening to the podcast in all the usual places, Apple, Spotify, etc. But you can always get the latest event schedule notifications so that you don't miss watching or beaming into your favorite shows, all available at reinventing247.com. Also, we highly recommend that you recommend these shows out to your friends and your colleagues. They're great for binge watching. If you're bored at 2 a.m. and you can't find something on Netflix, throw us on. I'm sure that you'll find some kind of little tidbit of information that could be very helpful to you. We have some weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into, starting on Sundays at 1 p.m. with me, Jason Leeser, hosting the Skill Building Sunday Drawing Group. This is directly followed on Mondays at 11 a.m. with the Tattoo Weekly, hosted by Jake Meeks, Lauren Gregory, and Gabe Ripley. That's followed Monday evening at 9 p.m. with a subscriber exclusive drawing group with Guy hsn himself, where we go through and we start working on individual aspects of the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. This is live instruction, but it is only for people that subscribe to the program. Tuesdays at 10 a.m., we have another drawing group, the Tuesday Feels drawing group, with a very good friend of mine, an extremely talented artist, Ricardo Sturdivant, where we go through and we discuss life, philosophy, art, pricing, and any number of other topics that might be beneficial to artists in this day and age. That's followed on Wednesdays at noon with the Tattoo Now show hosted by Gabe Ripley. That's hosted on, following that, Fawn Baker and Jordan Ruckus on Thursdays at 6 host the Tattoo Collecting podcast. There are a number of special upcoming events we would like to let you guys know about. Starting May 20th through 22nd, we will all be in Hell City, Columbus, Ohio for the Hell City Tattoo Convention. That's followed June 10th through 12th with the Ink Mania Tattoo Convention, where Phil Holt, Stefano will be in person, Guy will be beaming in, Frank Linatra and a few other amazing artists will have seminars available. We will have a Reinventing the Tattoo booth, cameras, interviews, etc. That's followed July 29th through 31st with the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio, hosted by Tony Urbanek. In August, we will all be down at the Hell City, Phoenix, Arizona Tattoo Convention. And as of right now, I believe we're on schedule for the October 21st through 23rd Richmond Tattoo Arts Festival. Would like to go through and take a quick minute to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make shows like this happen. Would like to give a very special thank you to Raw Pigments, an ink company that's tapping into the source, rawpigments.co. I've started to include a lot of these in my own personal lineup and have been using them with great success. They go right in, they saturate the skin well. They're super vibrant, light, fast pigments. You really can't go wrong. Next, we have worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. And they're constantly updating, keeping everything up to date, because as we all know, there are still some shows and some events that are getting rescheduled like crazy. So to stay up to date with the latest and greatest convention information, check out worldtattooevents.com. dermalize Pro, also known as dermalize in the rest of the world. Protect your art. If you're still using cling wrap to wrap your tattoos, maybe it's time to step your game up. This stuff was designed by wound care specialists and is meant specifically to heal tattoos. To know more, do a Google search, check out dermalize or dermalize Pro. Of course, we have to thank Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in SEO and professional development for tattooers of all levels. And they're now accepting new clients. This is the perfect way to go through and start attracting those clients that you want to tattoo. For more information, take a look at tattoonow.com. And of course, a very big special thank you from the bottom of my heart to Guy Hsn at guyhsn.com, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. Go to guyhsn.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, his DVDs, some custom tattoo coil machines for those machine collectors out there. He also has a number of original paintings and prints for sale, as well as a lot more. So thank you very much for joining us today on Reinventing the Tattoo. Oh, almost forgot. Would like to give another very special thank you to two of our affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network with Jake Meeks and the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols. If you are looking to start your tattoo journey and get a tattoo apprenticeship, listen in to the Apprenticeship Diaries, where Amy Nichols will go through and let you know and key you into some of the aspects behind being a tattoo apprentice that maybe you didn't know about. She also goes through and discusses what to expect, what you shouldn't expect, appropriate practices in being an apprentice, et cetera, et cetera. If you are already well into your tattoo journey and you're just looking to gain some more insight into the way that the minds and some of the practices of some of the great tattooers that are out there today go, take a look at the Fireside Tattoo Network with Jake Meeks, where he sits down and interviews some of the leading artists in this industry. As always, we ask that if you do enjoy shows like this, please go through and make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons and leave a positive comment on the channel. Help us get the word out. Recommend our show to a couple of your friends or colleagues. You know, let people know about us so that way we know we're doing our jobs right. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, or maybe you want to sponsor our community, or maybe you just want to get a critique on something that you're working on, feel free to email management at reinventingthetattoo.com. And here we go. Yay. And we're back. So let's see. Awesome. Cool. And we are joined today. We've got a couple people in here with me already. Looks like we have, I'll remove the spotlight. Looks like we have Ricardo and Seth with us today. How's it going, guys?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right. Medusa's here with us as well.
Hi.
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 So some of you might have remembered last Sunday when I was working on really awesome like human heart and dagger with an eye in it and all that stuff. Yeah, well,
What'd you do?
I messed it up.
Ate it. You ate it.
Okay, show us, and we can help you.
I mean,
fix
like
it.
serious facepalm style. There's no coming back from this. There is
Show
no
us.
possible recovering this.
There's
You gotta
always
share with the
recovery.
class.
There's
No,
always
recovery.
Seth, I disagree. There is no recovering this. I finished it.
We'll be the
Right.
judge of that.
Beautiful contrast.
I don't even have to look at it no more. It's
Crisp
terrible.
black line. Okay. Perfect in every way. I'm thinking, great. This is awesome. All I have to do is clear coat this. I can cut it out. I can frame it and life is good.
What
Until you
happened?
realize how detrimental it is when you spray on too much matte UV resistant clear coat
Oh no.
and the entire image fogs up.
Oh, no.
Let's take a look at this thing.
Yeah, here, let me switch cameras.
There's nothing that you can put on that to reverse that.
No, it's acrylic based.
Okay, wait. Let's show us close up. Let's see the oh my goodness.
Give
What
us a
about
pen.
So
What
you can
about
see up
send-
here, and the camera is really kind of not doing it justice. Let me see if
yeah.
I can zoom in a bit more.
I mean, that might be in your favor.
Yeah, well, on camera, it still looks salvageable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if would you be able to scan that and do any corrections like in Procreate and just make prints of it that way?
Oh,
I
Just
do
don't
have some.
sell the
I
original.
was very fortunate that I took some digital photos of it on my phone
There you go.
before I did this.
There you go.
But you can see like all up in here how this is all blurred.
Yeah.
Like nothing is really looking
it
like there
definitely
is
looks.
no recovering. So if you look very carefully, you can see how like a spot down here at the bottom of it kind of even, I tried to go through with like a damp paper towel and like get some of the matte off to see if I could save it. And I ended up wiping away some of the paint. Like there is no recovering this.
Did you?
Did you paint over it?
Could I have? Probably. I decided to go a little bit of a different route though. So I have spent this entire week, this past week, that's in focus enough, right? A little less. There we go. There we go. So I spent this entire week, this past week, and completely redid it.
Oh,
Holy
that's
crap!
awesome. Dude.
It's always better the second time around.
Yeah, maybe you did yourself a little favor there, needing to do it twice. You kind of learned you had a practice run through the whole thing.
And
Yeah,
that's
no.
something that I always try to key into, right? Is that there is no such thing as like a really bad mistake. If you have to go back through and you have to redo something again, that's okay. That is your opportunity to go back through and fix all of the things about it that you didn't like.
Yeah.
So why not? You know what I'm saying?
It's
Looks
like
pretty
in
good,
our
man.
It's like in our Monday night practices with Guy. You could just call that first one your first thumbnail. That's all.
Right.
There you go.
That's my
Yeah.
first draft.
That was just your first thumbnail.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some more light on this thing here.
I like how all Ricardo has to say is "yep," and it spotlights to him with his giant R because his
Oh my
camera's
God.
off.
Okay, let me
Just-
turn my camera
Just
So
say
on.
"yep" and an
Ricardo-
R.
Ricardo was actually
Yeah.
one of the first people for me to like hit up and complain about this. I sent him a picture and I'm like, I did a thing. And it was not a good thing. And I sent him a picture and he's like, dude. I'm like, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I got this. I'll redo it. I know exactly what to do now. I've done it before. I know I can do it again. Because remember, if you do it one time, you can do it again. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like I didn't remember all of those tiny little intricate things that I did, like all the tiny little highlights in the middle of the eye, or like all the tiny little like opaque yellow and white dots to give it that bumpy texture, or where I was going to put like the teal, although I did switch up the jewel at the top from red to a teal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do
That way
like
it's got more continuity with the eye. Whereas before I thought there was too much red in it to begin with. And I have no idea why I started doing the jewel with red, but I switched it to teal. So that's something I fixed up. There were a couple of things on it that I wasn't too happy with the last one, but I was like, you know what, screw it. Everyone's going to love it anyway. So I'll just frame it and call it a day. So this was my opportunity to go back through and work on it some more.
Good deal. Good deal, mate.
Yeah.
So, is anybody else here made any like major faux pas like that where you've had to practically finish the piece and had to redo it like that?
Yeah, whenever I first started doing oil paintings, I would just like get so pissed and just leave things alone without realizing that you can kind of just start all over or paint over what you already did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was always one thing for me. That or just like chucking it into the garbage till I was get frustrated by it.
I've definitely done the rage quit thing quite a few times. A couple of times though, I actually did like take the lesson and was like, all right, I'm going to start over and it's going to be even better the second time. And it always is better the next time around.
Yeah.
It really is, even despite how frustrating it is. It's like always better because yeah, you're right. You've already learned from your mistakes. You already know what you're doing. You're faster. You already have it planned out. You already know what you would have done better the last time. So you just do that better this time. But it is a pain in the ass. So getting that second one started always seems to be the hardest part because you're so upset and frustrated in the moment.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a reason why I do all of my layout in Procreate and then transfer it over to whatever medium I'm working on. And here's why. So this was the draft I created in Procreate, the line drawing that I created, right? You go through and you do a graphite transfer.
Oh yeah, that's
And
what I
then
do for
all I had
everything.
to do was lay this down, retrace the lines, and boom, I'm already set up to paint again.
Yeah, ever since I got an iPad and learned about Procreate, that's what I've been doing for all of my fine art, is doing the line art in Procreate, printing it out and doing a graphite transfer. It saves me like 50 sheets of paper doing all the line art digitally instead. And like I'm still using my drawing skills, so I'm just not wasting 50 sheets of paper sketching first.
You mean
So
you don't enjoy, killing all of those trees?
I mean, I do. I get off on the idea of how many trees I destroy when I'm at work reprinting out different sizes of the same stencil. But at home I'm a little bit lazier.
I've definitely gotten 3/4 of the way through sheets of flash and reached for a brush and just dumped the water all over, the dirty water all over the sheet.
That's worse than putting your brush in your coffee or drinking your rinse water.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
I
got a great story about that. So I worked with this guy years ago, and he told me he worked at this shop up in Rhode Island, and he was working with a couple of old timers, and they had used the same cups, like styrofoam cups for rinsing and for drinking coffee and stuff. And he said he's watching this guy tattoo and trying to pick some stuff up from him and pay attention to what he's doing. The guy's in a flow state, not really looking at what he's doing, and he goes to drink his coffee, and it was his rinse cup. And guy I know was like, "Yo, dude." He goes, "That's your rinse cup," and he's like, "Oh, thanks for letting me know." He goes, "I can't tell you how many times I probably rinsed my machine off of my coffee." It's like, oh my god.
Oh.
So bad. I mean, that's an old school thing, you know what I mean, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's
where all the
bad.
magic. That's where all the magic is.
That's as bad as the party dots.
Yeah, party dots.
Do we call them party dots or oopsie dots?
Fuck it dots.
I call them hepatitis dots.
This is like, fuck it, I got AIDS now.
Fuck it dots. Now I gotta change the cartridge again. Just kidding.
Knock on wood, I don't got any party dots.
Well, I don't have any either. I've met a few people that have some though, and I'm like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, there's been a couple of close calls where I'm just like really getting into some shading and I like just go a little bit too far. I'm just like, I just barely missed my glove. Oh, and then I got to like take a second, put the machine down, take a breather and be like, all right, I need to pay attention to what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
It's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't make those whips quite as spicy.
Like I got really into those whips, but I gotta cool it. Gotta cool the jets.
It's like when you're there and you're whipping and you're whipping and you're whipping and you're whipping and you don't realize how close you're getting to like your stretch hand, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And you're like,
exactly.
whoa, that was a near miss. Okay, I need to cool it for a minute. Take a step back.
Yeah, it's like, and it's really easy. It's the same like flow state mentality. I feel like it's not necessarily a sloppy thing. You're just really into what you're doing. The
Yeah,
same
you
thing
get into
happens,
that
when you
zone.
dip your paintbrush into your coffee or, try to take a drink from your rinse cup when you're painting. Please, I hope nobody's taking a drink from their rinse cup
And
when they're
that is
tattooing.
why always drink coffee out of cups that have lids.
I like to live dangerously, you little fraidy cat.
I mean, hey, more power to you.
This is the amount of times I've drank acrylic. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it does not taste too well. I remember back when I used to paint with talons, which I still enjoy doing every now and then because it's very, very dark. So if you really want some really nice dark black shading areas, but I did the typical like, take a sip out of your rinse cup thing, and the taste just did not leave my mouth for a week. It was absolutely nasty.
I mean,
Yeah.
so aside from Reese, okay, so you got your second chance at this dagger and heart thing. Ricardo, what are you working on? I want to see what that little snippet we saw earlier was.
Can you see the camera right now?
Yes.
Okay, now that it's spotlighted now.
Cool.
You're talking. I can see part of it. Lift your camera.
Oh, can you not see it? Oh, let me see. Let me try to get this thing propped up here.
I can see your apartment with all of your art supplies everywhere.
Yeah, my art supplies are. Let's see. I'll just show it to you.
You live like a true artist.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working on something for my girlfriend today for her Mother's Day present. And it's her daughters at a really young age. So it's pretty fun.
Oh, happy Mother's Day to any and all mothers that might be watching out there today. Thank you for everything that you have done.
Oh shit, is that today?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta call my mom. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for the reminder, guys.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm just working on this painting. I started it a while back and I started doing color, but I was like, you know what? I got a white frame for it. So I think I'm gonna do a black and gray kind of thing, like real simple black and gray kind of splotch test, almost like a paint by numbers kind of look to it,
Right on.
And
Very cute.
So I mean, the paint by numbers thing is like you get it real close. You can see the little differences in the shapes, and then the further back you get, the more realistic it starts to kind of take on an approach, an image. But once I get those whites and grays separated,
it's almost like a very graphic art, kind of like almost pop art style.
Yeah.
Where each individual tone has its own like individual section, right?
Yes, you got it. Yep. It's like the simplest versions of every single like painting you've ever seen, where it's super hyper realistic. It's just a little bit more basic and shape oriented.
Well, I really admire that kind of stuff because it allows your eye to optically mix. Yeah. So it's not like you have to have, perfect gradients every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Your eye will fill in the blanks and your eye will mix tones if they're right next to each other.
Yes, I agree completely. All right, tell me if you guys can see the freaking picture now.
Yeah.
Is that better? Oh man, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm like really prepared there. How about that?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree, Jason. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun to kind of simplify things and see it for its simplest shape and really be able to kind of convince the viewer that they're looking at a dimensional object. I think so anyway. Me thinks so anyways.
Well, that it comes down to do you remember that one pointillist artist, Seurat?
Yep.
Yeah, and how he did these massive paintings that look absolutely gorgeous, but when you get right up on it, all it is just a collection of different colored dots.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, but because your eye optically mixes everything from a distance, even a short distance away, it was just a very interesting take on fine art, and the amount of painstaking dots he had to do was impressive. That took patience.
Well, the other cool part about that as well is the fact that, like, wasn't that around the time period when they were like, okay, so the camera's out now, so now what are we gonna do? You know, like the camera is doing the job that we used to train for years to create these realistic images, and now what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and now that's when you start to see a rise in more expressive art, a rise in more things like I want to say Impressionists. You see a lot more people getting into surrealism, where it's becoming more concept oriented rather than realism, which is more how can I accurately reproduce the real world as I see it.
Right.
Now it's starting to get into, let me see if I can capture this one moment in time as quickly as I can in using my own artistic skills.
Right. I can dig it.
I have a very delightful rarity right now,
Which is what?
that I am stoked about. I actually got through all of my emails this morning.
All right.
Whoa.
Which I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but usually I get like dozens of emails. If I even skip like one day, I get really overwhelmed and panicky about checking my emails because there's so many. And I managed to get through all of them within a very short amount of time, and I feel very productive. So
Okay.
I just want to say that
Bravo.
little guy real quick. I know it's not a big deal to a lot of people, but you got to take the small wins.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thanks. I managed to not get overwhelmed one day. Yay!
That's a
Hey,
big
you know
feat
what? That's
man.
one step closer in the right direction.
You got it.
Oh man. I'm getting really excited for the Hell City this month.
Yeah.
Are you going, Ricardo?
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it this time.
Oh, okay. And Jason, you can't make it this time, right?
Unfortunately, I can't. I really, really wanted to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, it's either that or have the studio where I work lose money. Because that means we would have to shut down for an entire day, because unbeknownst to me, there's going to be like 3 other people that work at the same studio that are all going to be out.
Oh my goodness.
And
yeah.
Since I'm one of 2 people that does the books and like the cash outs and the safe and all that stuff, it's kind of like it's me or the owner, and one of us has to be there, and he's going to be away in another country on vacation.
Oh.
Gotcha.
So I'm kind of
there. You kind of there, man.
Thus the heavy burden of responsibility.
Yeah, we had a little situation like that recently at our studio when a couple there was a little bit of a mix up and confusion, and it ended up being like 4 people took the same weekend off without realizing that it was the same weekend. So just like, oh, wait, who's gonna stay at the studio and work on the weekend and take the walk-ins? Well, luckily we got a really good friend down in Arizona, JD. He works at Blind Tiger Tattoo in Phoenix, and he's a good friend of ours, and he flew up and he's like, I want a guest anyways, so I'll come in for the week, and helped us out. That was really nice of him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try to go visit his studio in the summer. Blind Tiger, I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna try to time it around the other Hell City convention so that I can visit his studio and go to the Phoenix Hell City all in the same weekend and compact my visit.
There you
I was
go.
going to say, I'm sure that if you talk to Renee Little, she'd be more than happy to set you up with a guest spot out in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oh,
She's a-
Renee's in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. What part of Oklahoma?
The
The
only
okay
part
part.
with people.
Tulsa?
The, I don't know.
Yeah,
If she's in Tulsa or
sure.
not.
I can't believe I
Sure,
didn't
that
even
sounds good.
realize. I didn't even realize that. I was just in Oklahoma when I was doing my traveling last week or the week before or whenever time is. I should have hit her up.
Yeah, I
bet
think
she's
it's,
probably pretty upset about that now.
Yeah, do
Oh,
not
no.
ever mention the fact that you were in Oklahoma and you just didn't go by to see her, because she will not
Yeah.
be very happy with you.
No, she won't be. No.
Oh no. Should I just
Yeah.
what if she sees this? Should I just preemptively text her and be like, sorry?
Or
in
you should
case
just
you
no
watch
play it
it?"
off like this. Be like, listen, I'm sorry, but maybe if you were a little bit of a bigger deal,
Oh, snap. Damn, dog.
just be like, I'm a
Damn,
little
dog.
too important to stop by. Sorry.
She
Oh,
is
God.
a big deal though. I love
No, she
Renee.
is. She is one of my legitimate heroes.
She's
And I say
so
that in
sweet.
jest. I say that completely and totally in jest, simply because like I really look up to her. I really, really look up to her.
She
So,
is so
when I say that, it's only in pure fun. Don't
Oh yeah.
think the wrong way about it. But
Oh yeah.
and
No,
Renee, if you're watching, you're my hero.
Renee, if you're watching, I'm sorry I didn't say hi.
You know what? Let me text her and I'll see if she wants to jump in.
Yeah.
Hit her up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm using my phone as my camera right now, so it's weird to text people. So yeah.
Me too. I'm using my phone as my camera as well.
Yeah, it's like weird because I know that I'm about to have a delivery, so I know my phone's gonna go off at some point.
What kind
Two.
of delivery?
Delivery.
Pizza?
No, just Instacart.
What's Instacart?
Instacart is grocery delivery service.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. I am a sucker for delivery things because A, I don't have to put pants on.
Because who likes wearing pants?
Pants down with pants forever. And B, after I don't have to go into my car. I don't have to go to the grocery store. I don't have to wait in line. I don't have to deal with people. It's amazing. I love it.
Your primary motivation right there is you don't want to deal with people.
My primary motivation is to try to find as many ways as possible to be left alone. Like the only time I want
alone. There are so many awesome people out there in the world.
I have my dog, and she's pretty awesome, and that's really all I need. That's, Also, I got a fish, and I got shrimps.
Nice. How's that working out?
Oh my gosh. So I named all of them after, have you guys remember that movie from the 90s, Maverick, based off of that old Western TV series?
No.
Starring Jodie Foster and Mel Gibson. Oh my goodness. It's one of the funniest, greatest gambling westerns of all time.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a fun movie. That was a fun
It's
movie.
one of my favorite childhood movies. So I got a beta fish, and his name is Burt Maverick.
Mhm.
And then I got a bunch of shrimps. Names are Marshall Lane Cooper. And then I got another tank over there, and it's full of tetras, and all of those tetras Jodie Foster.
Nice.
So I named them after the characters and actors in the movie because I am not that creative.
That's okay. I once named a whole tank of fish after the characters from the. Do you guys remember the one movie Hackers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my entire tank of fish. Every character in that movie, from Serial Killer, Lord Nikon, all those guys.
Nice. Oh man. Wait, do you guys have any pets? Jason, Ricardo, is Seth still here?
Yeah, Seth is here. Seth is in
just
the middle
being
of the
quiet.
tent.
Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, I was getting settled with my my client is actually my uncle. This is Bob. Say hi. How you doing?
Hi, Bob.
I didn't have the right screen on, so I didn't see if you're
I have
here.
a boxer dog who is the run of the litter, and she's only about 45 pounds, but she's very cute and mischievous and all the things that boxers usually are. I had cats for years, but no cats anymore.
What's her name?
Sweet Pea.
Aw.
Sweet Pea?
Yeah.
That's what my neighbor's boxer is, Sweet Pea.
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
neighbor's animal.
Yeah, it's a good name for a dog.
Seth, what are you working
for
on?
a boxer?
I'll actually show you right before my gloves get dirty here. Show you what I'm working on. This is a Japanese sleeve. Let me flip this around. So we got a turtle dragon at the bottom here.
Hold on, I'll
Teaching
spotlight
from-
you.
There you go.
Oh yeah, dude, look at that.
And then some peony flowers up on the inside of his arm to this koi fish, which is actually a cover up. He used to have was it a panther?
Yeah.
Oh, a panther that looked like a squirrel on the top part of his arm there. So we'll be getting into this guy today. Doing all background today.
What are you using for your background?
I'm a big fan of, I use Fusion Power Black for the solid, and then I will use Waverly Bluebird for the all of the gray wash. And I usually I break my my cups down. So I go starting from the right side here is the Power Black, and then I'm going to do 24 drops of Waverly, 18 drops, 12 drops, 6 drops, 2 drops, and then just plain witch hazel and distilled water. And that's my formula. I count them out every time. A lot of people will pre-mix it, to save time and stuff like that. And I don't know that I maybe don't trust my math enough to mix them in larger bottles to get the same effect. And I just don't feel like messing around with the formula. You know what I mean?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
stick to what I know with it.
Yeah, I do the drop method as well. How is Waverly for that?
Bluebird. I mean, you can go on my Instagram page and look at some of the work, and I have some healed shots here and there, but it heals incredibly smooth. It's awesome. Bill Stevenson owns Waverly, does a fantastic job at the consistency with it. It's so like silvery smooth and just flawless. You do large fields of color or large fields of value and have it transition smoothly. It's fantastic. I actually, Jay Goldberg, the owner of this shop, is the one who introduced me to it. For years I was using talons or cutting that down. And I asked him, I was like, how's your stuff so like silvery and perfect? And told me that's what he was using. So I've been using that stuff now for the past few years, and I've seen a lot of things come back, and it's very, very consistent, and I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Nice. Yeah, I am playing around with different brands right now, trying to figure out what my ideal gray wash solution is going to be for myself.
Might I recommend Waverly Bluebird?
You can recommend that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's give it a whirl. See what you think.
Just
I've
to
been
give a shout out to one of the people that make these shows possible. I personally would like to recommend Raw Pigments and their gray wash set, which is
nice.
amazing.
I've heard very good things about that stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is.
I love it.
It's consistent, bottle to bottle, batch to batch, and you don't find that with a whole lot of gray wash companies out there.
But they're pre-mixed, right? The ones you're using?
They are pre-mixed, and I actually prefer pre-mixed, just because, say, hypothetically speaking, someone comes in for, a touch up, or they want to go one level darker in a certain area. It's like, cool. I already know, because I know that this was done with the light gray, this was done with the extra light gray, this was done with the medium gray. So I can go right back into that specific area.
Sure.
And not bat an eye.
Absolutely. Consistency is important.
Very true.
I like it, man. It's pretty good stuff. It's one of my favorite gray washes I've ever used. And then I've been using a lot of the Black Mamba and just mixing my own washes with it. And it seems to work out pretty well. Like using witch hazel.
Yeah, that changed a lot. Nice.
Yeah, the witch hazel is where it's at, dude. Like,
You
it's
mean
so
y'all
cool.
ain't using that gold Listerine anymore?
What? The goldless what?
That used to be an old Lyle Tuttle secret for when he was doing his gray wash. He would take a little bit of the
Listerine.
old gold Listerine and he would mix that in with a
Yeah.
little bit of witch hazel and some distilled water. He would
Yeah.
use that to help disperse the black in the pigment in order
Oh,
to get
wow.
a more consistent gray wash.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, speaking of Lyle Tuttle, I did one of my late night impulsive shopping shenanigans, online shopping shenanigans that I really need to stop doing, but I don't regret this one. I bought from the Lyle Tuttle. Oh my God.
Lyle Tuttle.
Lyle Tuttle collection.
Okay. We're going to get through this, Melissa. We're going to get through it.
The Ben Corday book.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, go to the LyleTuttleCollection.com. I'll read the thing real quick. A comprehensive, gorgeous book on the life of tattoo artist legend Ben Corday and his contemporaries. The hardcover volume is packed with over 300 pages of tattoo history, chronicled in depth by Rich Hardy. The Lyle Tuttle collection loaned many vital history images to this project, and these books are now sold out elsewhere. This wonderful book will be an important foundation to your collection, and purchase includes a limited edition Lyle Tuttle shop sign enamel lapel pin. And it looks amazing. And so, yeah, I impulse shopped and bought that and can't wait for that to come in the mail.
That's rad. Hey guys, I'm going to step out and I'll be right back. I'm going to sign in on my computer.
Right on, Ricardo.
All
We'll be
right,
here.
bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, so
there's
it's
a-
called
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's called an artist, not a self-styled professor.
Nice. There is a 3-volume collection of these books that the owner of this shop, Jay, turned me on 2 years ago. There, it's all Philadelphia Eddie's history, like his biography and stuff like that. And bunch of fun stories and things like that, industry and people he's met along the way. And I just found out recently, I guess, like when they were they were doing the book, you know, I think Eddie just dictated it, and then somebody else, they recorded it, and then somebody else wrote the books. But you can go on YouTube and find like the first volume of the book dictated by, read by Eddie himself, and it's supposed to be pretty wild. I haven't listened to it yet, but I would definitely like to. Interesting.
I want to check that out.
We talk about like people like from the history of tattooing. I wasn't here when he stopped by, and I was kind of bummed out that I wasn't here, but apparently going back a couple of months, JD Crow randomly stopped by the shop here in media. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but chances are, if you're at a tattoo shop that has Flash in it that predates, 2000, chances are some of his is in there, and more than likely we've all seen his work or his Flash at some point, or even
that was the tattoo brand Flash, right?
I might be, because he's had his stuff all over the place. I mean, so I don't know exactly what company in particular carries his stuff, but
I'm looking it up right now. It is official tattoo brand.
There you go. Yeah, I actually have a JD Crow wizard on my leg shooting magic out of his hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very old, but I never cover it. Wear it proudly. I love all the history, old school tattoos and traditional tattoos. I think it's interesting. A lot of like when people have, like I do Japanese stuff. I do a lot of portraits and things like that. But I still like some of my favorite tattoos are just traditional bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's one thing I love about the shop that I work at. We're typically a traditional walk-in shop, but it's been around since 2002. But the owner, the woman that started it, she started tattooing in 1983.
There you go.
That's then for a woman to start tattooing in 83, like, dang, she paved the way for a lot of us bitches.
That was right at the height of the biker era, and like tattoos were still underground.
Yep. Yeah, no, actually, I got a tattoo. One of her clients came back, and he had been tattooed at one of her old shops from like a long time ago, and he had a tattoo from her that was like, well over 20 years old, and he's like, yeah, I got this in the 80s from her. And I'm like, you want me to tattoo you after you're telling me about how my legendary shop owner tattooed you back in the 80s? Like, oh God, now I'm scared.
I got one better for you. I had a guy come in at the tail end of the summer, last summer. And I mean, this guy had a pretty decent collection of tattoos, and they were all super traditional. And, I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, I got this like leopard on my arm. I just want to get it touched up. And I took a look at it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Like super unique. He's like, yeah, I got it done in Philly back in like, I don't know, like the late 60s or 70s. He's like, yeah, some guy named Eddie did it.
Some guy.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, Philadelphia Eddie? He's like, yeah, it was down on South Street somewhere. He's like, yeah, the guy didn't even stencil it. He just drew it on me with a big pen and, started going to town. And I'm like,
some guy named Eddie.
Okay. I'm like, you want me, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to fix it up? Do you want me to, I'm not going to cover it. Like, I can't cover it. Like what, sit down, like, let's go back over it, and we'll make all the black, and we'll make all the orange, and we'll just kind of take it from there. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean you don't know Philadelphia Eddie? He was the tattoo artist in Philadelphia for like half a decade. Like, how do you not know of him? Right. But I guess it's just one of those like niche things where if you know, you know.
Yeah. When you know, like, it's great when you see some of that old stuff and you're like, you see an old dragon and you're like, oh, wow, look, it's still green too. Like, it's 35 years old and it's still killing it, you know, 50 years old, however old the tattoos are. They were built to last back then, you know?
They really
But
were.
no, like it definitely, as far as the recognition goes and stuff, like, yeah, you're right. It really is a niche thing. Like I've seen collectors have something that they have no idea what it's worth.
Yeah.
And because they're not a collector, they're not into it. So to
Well, for
them,
them-
it's just a thing.
Yeah, it's the tattoo that they got and they either like it or not, but most of them just hold on to it. But we're the ones that get all geeked out by, you know, by the sentimental value of, you know, having a tattoo by Bill Salmon from, you know, 35 years ago or something like that. You know, it's crazy. To everybody else, they're just tattoos.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's one thing I really have to say. I really appreciate collectors, like guys that maybe they don't tattoo per se, but you know, guys that have an understanding and appreciation for the history, for all of those people that really paved the way for all of us today.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm thinking specifically of guys like Yalsey, who will travel around the world and get tattooed by all of these amazing people, you know, just to collect and have a piece by Philip Liu or Horiyoshi or Bowery Stan or Lyle Tuttle, you know, all of these great guys that really without which we would not be where we are today.
Absolutely not. Quick shout out in there too. I'm going to drop another name in there. Crooked Ken. Everybody know him for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, interesting fact. I just recently learned from watching a documentary on Canadian tattooing the other day. Did you know that Ed Hardy actually got his start and started tattooing in Canada?
I worked.
No.
So I was working at
Yep.
Yeah, I know that.
It is a documented fact that Ed Hardy did not start tattooing in San Francisco. He started in Canada, and then once he went through the first couple of years to get his feet on the ground, he then moved back to California. So I found that to be really, really interesting because you don't usually associate Ed Hardy with Canada.
But
No. And getting back to that, like we seem to talk about this every other week when I'm on with you guys. Like that lineage, it's amazing. I could listen to stories about that stuff all day.
Oh man, that reminds me of speaking of great stories and great storytellers. I was down in San Diego not too long ago. Well, actually, yeah, a while ago, about 10 years ago. And I was getting my right thigh tattooed by this guy, Denny Besnard. And, you know, not really knowing too much about his lineage, just really liking his artwork.
I will say
Just talking to him about where he apprenticed and, you know, what he went through when he was coming up because he's French by birth. So it's not like, you know, he came up in this area at all. And he's like, yeah, man, I went through my apprenticeship over at Tahiti Felix's. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, where, you know, can you point me in the right direction to that place? I'd love to stop by and just take a look. And ended up going down to Tahiti Felix's, just looked around at some of the history, like historical stuff that they had in a display case in this studio in downtown San Diego. And I mean, we're talking like old Rogers machines. He had a couple of old Edison machines in the display case, like some serious history.
Yeah.
And got to meet and talk to Tahiti Felix, which was incredible. And he was telling me a story about how he met up with Philadelphia Eddie after a convention one year, and somehow bullets started flying.
That checks out.
Right. And I forget who was shooting at who, but someone started to unload and like start to fire off some rounds at a studio while they were hanging out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it was like, wait a second, that's some crazy shit. Like, you don't really hear too much about that stuff going down anymore.
No, things got real back in the day, really quickly. Is that a car? Yeah, you like it? Yeah, the scene in Philly years ago was, back in, we'll say before 1990, back in the 80s and 70s and stuff like that. It was pretty raw tattoo scene. I know, I get it. It's a toy.
Yeah, it always makes me wonder about, just like tattoo history worldwide. Not like ancient tattoo history, but more like modern tattoo history.
Sure.
Like over in Europe, where that came from, how that evolved. Because they have an entire tattoo history museum over in Amsterdam I want to go to. And most people are like, yeah, you want to go to Amsterdam for the museum, right? Sure. And it's like, no, I really that's my primary motivation. Like I couldn't really care if I go over there and smoke weed or whatever. Like that's not my thing. That's not why I would go over there. But they have a tattoo history museum. I'll go to that. And I'll probably just spend hours staring at different things.
Beyond the Lou family, like just all of the other people that were involved with it. I mean, as influential as what they were, there's probably a plethora over there that you don't even really consider.
Oh yeah, guys like Henning Jorgensen.
Oh yeah, Stefan, all them dudes, Tintin.
Oh man, Tintin. You want to talk about living tattoo history?
Oh yeah,
that dude created a dynasty.
I heard Henning's got a new book coming out, by the way.
That's what I heard too.
I can't wait. The dude stuff is
amazing,
incredible. His take on Japanese work is just, oh my gosh.
Oh, it's filthy. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just so inspiring, dude. It's like, man, what am I doing with my life? I'm doing nothing with my life. Like, this dude's got it all figured out, and he does know that the answer is 42 for sure.
It's like that
absolutely.
Really dynamic approach to drawing, right? Like that Bernie Hogarth, they're putting body parts in front of other body parts, drawing the mass as a whole. And
yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely, man.
You can see how much his dragons weigh. Like you're like,
oh yeah,
wow.
Dude.
Yeah.
And that's something that's, really pretty tricky to portray in any kind of like drawing or painting, to actually have something have a sense of weight.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not easy.
No,
it's one of like the first styles where like you're looking at the body, like the drawing of it, and it's not a perfect cylinder. It undulates. It's got bulges here and there, and it just looks so natural and fluid.
Yeah, I won't. So one of my first ever exposures to Henning's work, believe it or not, was in there was a book that was out that someone published many years ago called the Tattoo Sketchbook.
Yes. Oh, okay. That's my bad.
And that was the title of it. It was just called The Tattoo Sketchbook. And it was a big, square, hardbound book that was just filled with artwork from different people all over the globe.
Nice.
And they had a ton of artists in there from Europe specifically. Henning was in there. Heinrich was in there. Philip was in there. Philip's wife was in there. I mean, guys from all over the place. And I just remember flipping through that and just saying, whoa, some of these people are just on a completely different level than where a lot of the people that I thought were like, you know, way at the top of the field, these guys make them look like chumps, you know,
Well,
but they're
there's
all
something about-
specifically legends in the industry that are doing this stuff. So it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I get it now.
You know, early on, I feel like I used to get, there was part of me that was, you know, I don't want to say like discouraged, but like thinking like, oh, how do I attain that? You know, like I'm just never going to live up to any of that stuff. You know, I'll just kind of do what I do. I'll study their stuff and I'll practice. But now, like I see that stuff and it's exciting. I flip through one of those books or I see pictures of somebody else's work. And even if the person's, whether they're tattooing for, you know, a year or 40 years, whatever type of experience they have, if they're offering something of value, it excites me. It inspires me, you know, and I have friends that, you know, they don't pay attention to social media. They don't look at things because they don't, you know, they just don't want to be, you know, I guess challenged or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like I'm watching you paint and Ricardo, and I checked your guys' work out online, Medusa, you know, and then anywhere I can find inspiration, I'm down to do it, you know, and I think that's so important, you know, to not close yourself off, you know, from feeling or feeling intimidated by, you know, somebody else's flawless drawings.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, man. Like I've been discouraged myself. You know what I mean? Sometimes I see some of these people, like there's an apprentice, I can't remember his name. He's in Australia, filthy tattoo artist or something like that.
Yep.
I don't know if you can pull him up. You know what I'm talking about, Jason? Can you pull?
I know
stuff up?
exactly. I'll pull up their work. Hold on.
What's his name
Yeah, I
again?
remember- Filthy
On
tattoo
Instagram,
artist.
they go by Filthy Tattoo or
Okay,
Filthy
Filthy
Tattoo Art.
Yeah, filthy tattoo artist.
Currum Witham Field, I believe.
But I remember seeing these guys and like they're apprentices, and it's like, dude, your work is incredible, and like what am I doing with myself and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I understand exactly what you're saying about the discouragement. Like it's the matter of perspective, isn't it? It's because it's like, dude, what are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that information now? You have it in your hands, it's right there in front of you.
That's
How do you
right.
choose, yeah, you know, like how do you choose to dispose of this information? You can either use it to your benefit or you can beat yourself up and stay in a fucking box through the rest of your life and be like, yeah, no, I'm just not good enough.
Yeah.
Well, of course you're not, because you've already convinced yourself that you aren't. So
Reminds me
yeah.
about A players want to play with A players, B
So
players.
you just go for it.
Oh, that's a good one. A player. That's a good one. My uncle just dropped a good quote on me. He said he read in a book somewhere that A players want to play with A players, B players want to play with C players.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
Very true.
You know, I'm like, put me in the room where I feel the most uncomfortable and let's see what happens.
yeah, absolutely. That's the only way you're going to get better. You know what I mean? You play up to your, you know, not competition, but thinking of it in terms of sports. You either play up or down to your level of competition. You know.
Yeah, exactly, man. There's only one way to move, and it's like you can move laterally if you want to, like the sports analogy. You can move laterally if you want to, and you're just going to keep moving across the field instead of forward towards the goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Sports.
So, I'm not. Not yet. Yeah, I don't think it's not really, but I need 5 people. Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah, Currum Witham Field is.
Pull stuff up. Pin his stuff for us, Jason.
Yep.
You guys are going shit.
You
You're gonna poop a little bit.
How much did you want?
he's an apprentice, huh?
He was. He had
Well,
been.
he
I don't know if
was
he's-
an apprentice. He's now a full tattoo artist in Auckland.
Yeah. Look, pull up that snake.
That snake is ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. Look at those snakes, double-headed, man, dude. Ugh.
Look at the texture.
It's cool.
Ugh.
All those
But like,
little
all right,
ghost
so like-
line scales.
Paying attention to like up where it moves around the neck, right?
Mhm.
See how natural that is? Like it's got undulation to it, right? I
Yeah.
remember drawing, like if I look at snakes that I've drawn in the past, you know, or dragons like that just look so stiff, you know.
Yep.
Like that's like you were saying, Ricardo. You see something like that, that's information. That's, you know, you can digest that and hold on to that and then practice that, you know, and instead of being intimidated by it, be inspired by it, you know.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're offered a book. You can give two people a book with the same information. You read it, and it's like, how do you translate it? And that's the benefit of the perspective. Let's see. Yeah, look at that snake. Like just the way he uses his line work.
Wow. The honeycomb in the middle of the flower. Come on, son.
Yeah, I know, right? What's going on there? You're gonna take something cool and just make it cooler? Man.
The subtle gray wash background.
He's adorable.
Any Trevor McStay fans here? He's an old school Australian tattooer who I love his work.
No, I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, Trevor's something else.
Whenever you're done with him, we have to look up Yao Bosco.
Oh yeah, Yao. I actually own a couple of books from Yao.
Yeah, his stuff is crazy good, man.
Let's see.
Very
Here's Trevor
organic.
McStay.
Okay, killer.
Yeah, he's been doing this stuff since the 90s, man. Like early 90s, just crushing it.
Dude, like a master of the Japanese style.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His work reminds me a lot of Dana Helmuth in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, Dana's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Go to that Hanya with the snake in the middle of the back, if you don't mind. Next to Santa. No,
This
up
one or the other one?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a cover up, but the more completed version of it. Let's see. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Be a color bomb when it's done, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. He's got an update. Yeah, here we go.
No, black and gray. Man, look at that. Boom. Look at those. So
Oh, it's all black and gray. Oh man.
So that's the thing. Like, look at how smooth all the and controlled all that shading in the cheeks of the honey mask are, and like that upper lip, and even the lower lip. Like, look at that. It's just a field of just smooth tonal gradation, like just all the same tone. That's awesome.
That's so technically perfect, like technically, you know. And
yeah, dude. It looks like you painted it in there.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Incredible. Just so good. Oh God, so good. So,
Now let's take a look at Yao.
oh, Yao Bosco. Yao Bosco art, man. His stuff is dope. Next level.
Oh man. That's wild. I love the teeth on teeth type of a thing. That's crazy. Like just they're like fish hooks, you know?
Yep.
So great.
I love his incorporation of perspective into it too.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that with a lot of his different pieces.
Can you click on that weird eyeball spiky thing there all the way to the left? Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, see, it's like that's the cool thing is when you look at it, this one is point blank. Like it's all based off of finger rolls. You know what I mean? Like the Japanese style waves. And like he just takes everything and implements it into that form and that shape. And the repetition, the way that it all cascades off of itself. You know what I mean? Like all of it is based off that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially the way he pulls like the negative backgrounds into it too.
Like calling it like the Salvador Dali used to, you know, you do a figure of a woman in the background and then do the same window shape of the woman in the back, you know, somewhere in the painting, and then you see a vase that was the same shape. You know, that repetitive nature, you know, is just
exactly.
You can find
forces you to look at it.
The scales, the corners of the eye, the teeth. It's all the same fluid movement.
Yeah, it forces you to look at it. Like you can't not look at it. You know what I mean? It's like it makes you just follow it all the way through. It's pretty incredible. I love it. Go to that stomach piece there, Jason.
Where's this guy out of?
The UK somewhere, I think, isn't it? Or Europe?
I believe, Los Angeles and London.
There you go.
Killer. Oh,
You
get
know
excited
what?
when you see that US address with guys like that, because I just assume that they're all over in Europe somewhere and I'll never see them.
Oh, well, you can definitely see a European influence in a lot of his work. I mean, look at the finger waves alone and the contrast level. That
Yeah.
just screams Philip Liu.
Yeah, for sure.
I love with the snakes, like that style of like where you draw the tongue coming out and it's just got so much movement to it and flips this way and that way and is longer than it ever really should be, but it just looks so great, you know.
And it looks like it belongs too, and it shouldn't. You know, like
100%.
Yeah, the way he makes it work, and you're like, dude, that shouldn't be there, but why is it so appealing? Like, I don't.
It's so good. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for introducing. And I'm definitely have to follow that guy.
He's got a couple books out, and I highly recommend them.
Highly recommend. Sure. I will look into that.
It's pretty awesome. Like, you know, you see these guys drop books, and then all of a sudden you'll see like more tattoos coming out that resemble this quite a bit. Like, I remember when that grimy book came out a little while back, everybody's doing those little like crabs with the Japanese faces and stuff.
We should do an episode of this where we're just beforehand we'll gather some reference books and we can all share some of our favorite reference books.
Oh, dude,
Man.
into that. Totally into that. Let's do it.
I'll have to tap into my library.
We'll have to get some of the people that are watching, you know what I mean? They're looking for information. That's where we find it.
Yeah.
Oh man, if Jason got started on his reference books, it would be a whole episode, 3-part series.
Yeah, I got my buddy at the shop that I work at now too.
That's good. That's content.
I just got a couple of new books recently. They are full of skulls and medical anomalies.
Nice.
Fun.
What is it?
They were just some stuff that popped up on things you would like when I was looking online at just, art books. And let me grab them real quick.
Come on now. Come on now. Bring it to us. You know what I think I might do? I think I might throw a little weird colored heart or something over here.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. I saw this series of reference books for artists online. They're Vintage Graphics Resources Company.
Okay.
But yeah, we got one on medical anomalies, which is very fun.
Can you pin Medusa, Jason? Oh yeah, killer.
So we got this guy, and he's got some really, really fun, interesting medical illustrations and drawings and stuff. That's all it is. No information, no text, just a bunch of drawings of weird bodies and skeletons and everything. And then I got another one that's skulls and anatomy. Vintage illustrations for artists and designers, and there's a whole series of this that has just a bunch of different stuff, and they're fairly cheap books. They're like $20 each.
Was that off Illustrated Monthly?
I don't see anything on it that says Illustrated Monthly. Both the books are from Vault.
Okay.
I've got this, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, this one's also pretty cool. I mean, I'm really into the skull things, but they've got also a bunch of books on animal anatomy and a lot of copyright free, or is that the term for it when you can use it?
Royalty
yes.
free.
Yeah, royalty free vintage illustrations and stuff that you can use for references. And it's tailored for artists and designers, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
that with
another great resource for royalty-free images and stuff like that. If you're like me and you like being able to collect hardback books, but you also like digital downloads, like ebooks and stuff, take a look at Illustrated Monthly. They have got an incredible collection of stuff.
Illustrated Monthly. Is that a .com?
Yes. In fact, I can pull up the website if you'd like me to.
I am typing it up right now.
Oh, made the tape up board.
illustratedmonthly.com. Ooh, cute.
Ebooks,
Oh,
they've got
wow.
prints, they've got hardback books. They've got
Oh,
some that are specifically
Whoa.
tailored for tattoo artists. Alphonse Mucha, spiders, all different types of subject matter, all different types of everything.
This is amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you. A whole book on crucifixion art. Yes.
Yes. Queen.
Yes, please.
So this is their collection of hardback books. And you can see they've got some Hokusai books, some Kuniyoshi books. And these are all physical books you can purchase. They also have quite the selection of ebooks to purchase,
Add to cart.
which are great for traveling on the go.
Add to cart. Somebody stop me. I haven't paid my phone bill this month. I can't do this.
Secret Society emblems, Art Deco motifs, daggers.
There's this book called Unholy that has a compendium of satanic art. Add to cart.
That's gonna be like that. Mhm. That's
There's
gonna be
another
like
one called Send Nudes that's all about erotic art and paintings. Add to cart. Ghosts
Yeah,
and
yeah, those
Demons.
are-
Add to cart.
These are all, a lot of them are ebooks too, which you can download and look right at on your iPad.
I love that. Saves me space on my bookshelves. As I said in a
Exactly.
previous episode, I'm trying to not hoard so much stuff. So
Like
I
here's
love
one
the
called
ebooks.
Cadaver. It's $4.
Add to cart.
So there's I figured this trick out a few years back when I first started messing around with iPads and stuff home. So I guess it's quite a few years ago, but downloading apps for medical students that have anatomy in them and using those for drawing, like the 3D skeleton models and stuff like that, because you can like take like a full model of a skull, human skull, choose which bones you want to be in or not be in, give it a full rotation, 360 degrees. It's completely lit in real time, so you get shadows and all that stuff. It's amazing. And I mean, I think I paid like $3 for the app, and I used that thing a million times. Somebody's like, I want a skull, but I want it looking this way. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just pull up.
What's the app?
I don't remember the name. I think it's called 3D Skeleton, but they're for medical students because they're all, the names of the bones and the joints and the muscles and whatever vascular systems. And you find whatever it is that you're looking for in particular. Like you can find ones for, horse anatomy. You can find ones for, adult women, men, all dinosaurs, all sorts of stuff. And they're just for students, really, is what they were meant for. But as an artist, I look at that and I'm like, it's every pose you'll ever need, every angle.
And there's one I always go to called Skelly, and that's exactly what it is. It's a 3-dimensional skeleton where you can go through and kind of pose it in different ways, and you can see it with the muscle structure, without the muscle structure, with the soft tissue, without the soft tissue. Like,
you got to think outside the box when you're looking for good reference, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, man, it's kind of like the old school way, right? Like we were just talking about books and things and like the history of tattooing. Like think about like how, guys would have books back in the day and be like, not tell anybody about the reference books that they have because they don't want other people to have that, access to that kind of information. Because if you wanted to get that kind of work, that's the person you had to go see because they had correct reference on it. You know, everybody else was just copying it. They would see it in a tat rag or something, and then,
Well, yeah, and then the other part is too, like when you're looking for references, it's important not to be looking for the direct source itself. Like you're not going to use that exactly as is, dude. You want to use it as
correct.
like, oh, what is it that invokes you? You know what I mean? What is it that invokes like that sense of like, oh man, this stuff is cool as hell. How
Hell
is
yeah.
it cool as hell? You know what I mean? Like, why is it cool as hell? Why do you get into it? What are the
Yeah.
questions that you're asking yourself?
Jason,
Yes.
what have you done to me? In just the last couple of minutes, I racked up a cart that's $119.95.
That's a steal. You'll pay for that.
I have 9 books.
That's awesome for 119. That's pretty good.
That's
Wait.
pretty.
Are they all physical books?
A couple of them are physical, and a bunch of them are ebooks.
The physical ones are probably what's costing you the most.
Yeah, they're 25 each, but one of them's called Send Nudes, and it's naked people in art, and the other one's Unholy, and it's satanic art. So duh. To have to get them. Naked Satanism.
The Japanese profile books. Have you ever seen those?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, those are great. The really small ones, men pose file and women pose file. They're 200 pages of just black and white images of people in different poses. It's amazing. Going up and down stairs, leaning over edges, swinging things, reaching. It's awesome.
There's another resource for that called Pose Space. It's a website, but you can go through and they've got different types of like pose references specifically designed for artists. I like Pose Space a lot just because it will go through, if obviously you have to pay for it, but you can go through and it'll give you a 360-degree rotation of a person in that specific pose.
Oh, nice.
So that you can get the right angle that you're looking for to see how would this arm lay into this if they're posed like that.
Have you ever seen Holmes?
Yeah.
Or maybe I need this, but I need this from the opposite perspective.
Awesome.
That would also be like a lot.
Kyle Olson on YouTube just said, thanks for all the references. Kyle, no problem. That's part of what we do here.
It's just kind of our thing here, son.
Yeah, it's just kind of what we do.
Just tune in so you can get all kinds of tips and tricks.
No one gets to. Oh yeah. He has to put his hand.
Yeah, one great reference I always found for Japanese work, believe it or not, is kimono patterns and designs.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Those really give you great motifs and great ideas on, repeating patterns for the background and how to draw flowers for kimonos and stuff like that. And it will break down everything for you.
Touching on what Ricardo was saying earlier, where you're not looking for the direct source, right? I have the Fudo Mayo book. It's a paperback, and it's a pretty big book. It's comprehensive. It's got all the different, all the information that you would need for drawing Fudo and those type of things in many different positions and poses. And I'll often use that for clients that have no interest in getting a Fudo tattoo whatsoever. They just want something Japanese. And I'm trying to explain to them, how we could lay something out. And just looking at these giant, paintings or drawings that are in the book and saying like, we can do, the flames to look like this. I could do a sword that looks like this, or the hilt of the sword. There's a design in there that maybe works for the back of a girl's neck who wants something ornate and she doesn't know what she wants. And then you kind of direct them, right? Steer them into doing something cool because you have the reference to do that. They don't know where to look for that stuff. They're going to look on Pinterest, right?
Yeah.
But if
I shouldn't get my tattoo ideas from Pinterest.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, but
And there's nothing wrong with
more.
that. Yeah,
Right,
but you want to help
exactly.
them be creative, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
and do something that you'll like doing as well.
If that's your thing, Sean, have at it.
What do you put in the corner of that painting, Ricardo?
I think I'm gonna leave it kind of open ended. I'm gonna let the frame and stuff like that do the talking for most of it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it kind of empty.
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
might just kind of do some little brush strokes.
It's fun to see the process, man, and hear you like kind of talk yourself through it.
Yeah, thank you.
I am going to check out after buying all these books, and then I'm going to leave my computer so that I can't do that anymore and start working on some art.
Good
Very
idea.
Time to pay for that, all that stuff you just bought.
You got to buy all that.
Yeah. I do got to pay my phone bill at some point.
Oh, speaking of which, do you have an update for us on how the painting or the drawing that you did went and how you paid for that, or how you got charged for it, or how you charged for it? We were talking about that in the class on Tuesday morning, I think.
Oh, yeah. The Lil Nas drawing that I
Yes,
did
that's
that my
one.
friend wanted.
Yep. that's the one.
No updates on that. When I told them the price, they responded with a heart emoji. So I think they were cool with it. They also told me specifically that they didn't want any homie discounts and they want to pay me what I'm worth. And if they don't think I'm charging enough, they're going to pay me more. So that was really nice.
Nice, dude.
There you go.
It's very, very nice to have somebody that's super supportive and it's just like, I'm not going to let you undercharge yourself, because there's so many people out there that don't have the budget to buy art and will either ask for discounts or, be like, but we're friends, blah, blah, blah. That's not your real friend. Or,
You don't pay half
all of that. So
Someone
it,
right now, Russ Abbott is smiling from hearing that, Medusa.
Right?
Yep.
hi, Russ Abbott. I still want a drunk Russ Abbott tattoo from you for my birthday.
Who doesn't want a Russ Abbott tattoo for their birthday?
I want my fantasy Russ Abbott tattoo is to buy him a 6-pack and let him tattoo whatever he wants while he's drunk.
Is that how that works?
It might not be the most kosher way to get a tattoo, but oh my goodness, I want a drunk Russ Abbott tattoo.
Make for a good story.
Yeah, but no, yeah, or just a Russ Abbott tattoo in general. He's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just outside of Atlanta, but
So are you guys, when it comes to getting tattoos, are you at all motivated with the story or the environment or situation behind getting a tattoo, or is it just getting the artwork that you want itself? You know what I mean? Like, we all want to get tattooed from friends and have little burners here and there. And I feel like sometimes those are way more fun than
Yeah, exactly.
committing to this giant piece that you'll love and it'll be a showstopper because you sought this person out. But there's something to be said about like having that experience tied to the piece, even if it's a small one. And it becomes part of the lore. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, I was at Blackheart Tattoo and getting tattooed by Scott, and Juan was there, and you know what I mean. Then it becomes this whole kind of takes on a whole life of its own.
Oh yeah, the tattoos, especially pretty much all the tattoos on my right leg, are all just friend tattoos. Some of them are done pretty poorly. Some of them are done really, really well, and they have fun stories about hanging out in the shop after hours and just hammering away while chit-chatting and singing along to music and stuff. And they're all my favorite tattoos.
Hell yeah.
Radical.
Like the tattoos that you get that have like the fun story of you're hanging out with the guest artist that you also kind of idolize after hours when they've come into work in your shop, and you're getting a tattoo from them. Doesn't even matter what it is. You could tattoo a set of titties on me, but if I'm having a fun time with you and we got a story about how like we decided that we had a long day at work and we were going to just trade tattoos real quick before we lock up the studio, like that's going to be my favorite tattoo.
Yeah. I'm starting to get there too. You know what I mean? Like I feel you, dude. I have a lot of tattoos from friends and stuff like that. And I think I'm gonna be covering some stuff up pretty soon. And I think I like the idea of having friends tattoo for sure.
Yeah, like I've got some tattoos that are like really, really nice. You know, like I've got this sleeve here that I've been working on with a couple of different artists for over a year now, and that's like lovely. But also, I have on my leg a comedic tattoo of a monster vagina spitting out a skull that's eating a dildo with like finger cum wave everywhere, all over it. And it's just
Fucking
hilarious. But that's like my fun friendship tattoo. My friend was all like, I really want to tattoo this. And I was all like, you want to tattoo my inner thigh? So,
What else are you gonna put there? Yeah, it's amazing.
it's like a perfect spot. So, and that's like one of my favorite tattoos because it was just like one of those random, like my friend was like,
Yeah.
I really want to do this, but it's hard to find a client that wants something so not family friendly tattooed on them. And I'm just sitting there being like, do me.
And then now it's the story of the tattoo, right? More so than it is as awesome as the tattoo sounds, and it does sound hilarious.
Yeah,
You know,
dude, I can lift my
story of-
skirt up and scare anybody. And they're all like, what the hell were you thinking? And I was like, I wasn't. I was just having a good time.
Nice.
Because of the tattoo you made.
I have the shop. I first started tattooing down in Fenwick Island, Delaware, and I was down the road from that Amy shop, Independent. Independent was the first shop I got tattooed at ever, and I was able to years later, after being a tattooer and working up in Massachusetts and traveling back down here, and was offered to do a guest spot there, and it was kind of like a full circle moment for me to be there in that environment. And when Jay Cooper was working there, and Todd and Trez and Matt, it was a really good time. It was a great week, and we were getting down towards the end, and I grew up living down in Maryland and Delaware, going down there a lot, and it was all we're all about eating blue crabs, right? You go get a bushel of crabs, crack crabs with friends, and and you have a good time. So there's this thing about getting a crab claw tattoo, and we ended up at the end of the week on Friday. We closed the shop a little bit early. We got some fish tacos from the place next door. We opened up a couple of 6-packs, and we pulled the beds out back of the shop, and we tattooed each other outside drinking beer, and that's where I got my crab claw tattoo, outside of the
awesome,
shop.
Dude.
It was
Man,
great.
I want to do that so bad, dude. I want to tattoo outside so bad.
It's way easier now, man, with the wireless, right? I mean, back then we were running power cords out there and stuff like that. But it's not the crab claw tattoo. It's the way that I got it. The end of the week,
Yep.
Sometimes
that's a very cool story.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad I can share it.
Yeah, I take two different routes whenever I get tattooed. There's those people that I want to go and get tattooed by so that I can learn from them as they're working on me. But I always try to arrange it so that every time I do get a tattoo, there's some type of travel or experience or story involved with that. Like when I got my Clint Danroth tattoo, I took a trip and made a trip out to the Mecca of tattoo conventions, over to the London Tattoo Show one year, and booked an appointment with Clint like 2 or 3 months in advance, paid him a deposit, the whole nine, and he booked out all day Sunday for me. And he tattooed the entire inside of my right arm, and I got to sit down, ask him questions, but I got tattooed at the London Tattoo Convention, surrounded by all of these incredible artists, having an incredible time, meeting everyone, meeting João Bosco, meeting, Philip Liu that year was fucking incredible. I actually have a Philip Liu Dragon Claw book that I think I was like the third person in line when he released his Dragon Claw book at the London Tattoo Show that year, and I had him personalize it and sign the inside of it and everything like that. So, but that was all in the same weekend. Nice. I'm heading up to get tattooed by Chris Dunn in June. So I'm going to be flying out to the Deadly Tattoo Convention to get tattooed at that show. So there's going to be that experience, flying out to Rome to go to the Rome Tattoo Convention, didn't even know it. Fibs was there. Fibs was doing walk-ups all weekend. So I was like, yeah, Fibs, I want to get tattooed by you. Cool. Why don't you tattoo my right knee since I'm running out of room and I don't really have too many other areas left? So I got tattooed on my right knee by him. That ended up turning into an entire side panel tattoo. And through him, I met all of these other amazing artists. You know, it's so there's a progression there, but I always try to involve my tattoos around travel so that way, no matter what happens, there's always that kind of an experience or story behind it. And I've got some other tattoos, you know, done by friends of mine that work in the area, like my friend Ian. I can call him up anytime, even on his days off, and be like, hey, dude, I'm trying to get tattooed. You need to come and unlock your shop and let me in so you can tattoo me. And he will, and he'll show up 15 minutes later and he'll unlock the door and we'll go in and he'll tattoo me.
There's something to be learned there, like for any tattooer at any level. You know, if you seek out the experience, that can be just as inspiring as, you know, completing a work yourself, like doing something and training yourself to do a particular thing. Just travel and go have the experience. See, you know, sit down with somebody and have lunch with them and then tattoo each other. And, you know, you learn, sometimes you have an opportunity to learn way more that way and be inspired in such a profound way that it kind of lasts longer. You know what I mean? Like, you're still talking about that London convention like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh man, I could tell you what I had to eat while I was there.
yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I bought 17 prints from artists the first day I was there alone.
Of course. Now you're at a show like that, you
17
don't
of
want to go out, and you know they will.
Yeah, most of them are still sitting in a portfolio case. Most of them I haven't gotten framed, but I also want to keep them out of daylight so that they don't fade. You know, it's just
There's also kind of that mystique behind having them put away like that too, right? Like when
Right.
you have somebody, when I travel to see you, or you have somebody come to the shop from far away, you're like, oh, check this out, and pull out that black portfolio and unzip it and just, you know, see their jaws hit the floor. You know what I mean? Give them a story about collecting them. That's cool, man. Sometimes that's cooler than having them on the wall.
right. Yeah, it does add to the allure and the mystique behind it. You know, especially when you have signed prints from guys all the way in New Zealand or Australia that you met up at a show, and next thing you know, it's like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, you know, how did you get this? And it's like, oh, well, let me sit down. Let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all we got, man. That's we talked about that before, man. Keeping tradition alive by sharing stories like that is, you know, the industry is going to change however it may, you know, with technology and information and stuff like that. But the experience, I think, is just can be so much more inspiring, and sharing stories and stuff like that. Keep it all alive.
Hey guys,
Folks.
I'm gonna have to get going.
All right, Ricardo.
Okay, man, it's been a blast. You guys want to see this real quick?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
yeah, dude. Let me spotlight you. Spotlight for everyone.
Awesome.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
They're crushing it. Look at that light, man. Ooh, that's fantastic.
Very cute.
Yeah, thanks. So it'll go inside this frame too. Let me see.
Aw,
nice. Oh, it's perfect.
Aw.
hell yeah, man.
Adorable.
That's awesome. Is that a commission?
No, it's for my
No.
girlfriend's for Mother's Day.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. man. I appreciate
What
it.
a lucky lady. She's gonna be stoked.
Hey, all right. Let's see what she says. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you guys know what she says.
Please do, man. Please do.
Cool. Well, you guys take it easy. It's been a pleasure being here. It's always good to see all you guys. So
Yeah,
we'll
man.
talk to y'all soon. Have a good holiday.
You too, Ricardo.
You too, man. Take care.
Peace.
See you when I'm looking at you.
Later.
You know, I think you're absolutely right there. You know, for me, it's, you know, for me, experience has always been the best teacher. So the fact that I can go through and have all of these experiences, that's taught me exponentially more than, you know, turning around and just having someone sit down and, tell me something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I love acquiring experiences to help with personal and professional growth. However, what I have found is common in the process of gaining experiences. Usually it starts by having to put on pants and leave your house. And I got to circle back to the whole no pants rule. So.
Don't take it.
Well,
Can't
that's
get
a
any
shame,
experiences.
Medusa.
I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to get dressed.
Well, that's where you have a
Can I-
choice to make, right? You have
Online
that choice. You can stay at
seminars.
home. You cannot leave your house. You cannot have those experiences, or you can put your pants on.
Well, you're probably more likely to want to leave the house if it involves something that you're truly obsessed with and and inspired by. Like
This
nobody
is
wants
true.
to put on pants and go to the grocery store, but we all got to eat, right?
I'll go put on pants to go to a convention and hang out with artists and maybe get
Oh, yeah.
tattooed. That's pretty cool. I'll put
Oh,
on
yeah.
pants for that. But
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'll put on pants for. Oh.
Yeah, even then I hesitate on putting pants on. I just go sometimes.
I think you would do really well with skirts. Very easy to take on, take off. You can
It
go to the
gets kind of
bathroom
awkward
anywhere.
sometimes. I'm not going to lie. Like when I was at the Rome
Talking
show,
about
walking
going to
around.
Scotland. Oh, sorry about that. No, I would say Jason and I were just talking about going to Scotland recently. You can get away with a kilt over there.
Yeah. I was actually just talking to my friend Mikkel the other day too. He might actually be coming out to Miami. If he does, I might take a trip out there just to go and hang out and say hi.
Nice.
You can get away with a kilt and a skirt anywhere if you don't give a fuck.
This is true.
I am away from my computer. I reset up so that I'm not going to be doing any more online shopping, and am working on a drawing now of Biggie.
Oh yeah, what are you working on? Let's see it.
Biggie Small.
Oh,
Oh, Notorious. Oh wow.
So this is my
what are you doing that with?
big pen, couple of big pens. Or just ballpoints. I did realize that one of them, this it looks like it's like a zebra, Z-grip, whatever this thing is a bit darker than this regular Bic pen. So I am switching between two ballpoints. I like to simplify, keep it simple, use the office supplies.
Pen drawings are really beautiful. You learn how to use them and manipulate them. They're really awesome.
I know there's a problem with like ballpoint pen drawings and it not being archival, if that's
Only
the
the
right
black-
word.
Usually only black ink, and I only know that from the sports world, from autographs and stuff. If you get something signed, you should always have it signed in blue ink because it'll last longer. If you ever see a baseball that's really old and it got signed with black ink, the ink looks yellow, it looks faded, but blue will hold up forever.
So wait, is that like just with like ballpoint pens, or is that also like Sharpie and everything?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm thinking just ballpoint because that's where the conversation I was having with this person was based off of signed baseballs and things like that. And they were saying that's why, if you see a baseball that's signed in blue ink, if it's, 50 years old, it's still, it's taken care of, it still looks fresh. You see the same well taken care of baseball, but it's signed in black ink. The ink will often be faded and
look red or a light pink.
Look like pale yellow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, for archival, is that the word that I'm trying to use? Archival?
Yes.
Like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, for the longevity purposes and everything, like, I'm just drawing these for fun, man. If somebody wants to buy them, that's great. But also, by the time it starts fading and deteriorating, I'm going to be long dead. I don't care. This is like, That's I'm not gonna be around, so
Well, you never know. The human life expectancy does continue to increase.
please no. Please, please. Like, imagine being old, but your body is still aging. Like being 150, but your body is 150 years old. Your
I've seen
brain,
enough Futurama to imagine that.
so like, I don't know, man. I don't want to be in diapers in my lifetime longer than I've not been in diapers. You know what I mean?
Good point.
It's like there's this, I forget what source of the mythology is, but there's like a deity that wanted her lover to be immortal just like her. So she made him immortal and he became immortal, but his body kept decaying. So eventually it was just this old corpse chasing her around being like, my lover, I love you. And she's like, ew, no, you have flies, you're decaying, you're gross. But she made him immortal. She just didn't make his body immortal. So, and then like the end of it goes, it's like, it's two shooting stars across the sky. It's always the lover first, and then the decaying corpse lover who won't die chasing after her. But I botched that story. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to live forever.
Decaying corpse star.
I don't either. I just want to live long enough to have an impact on a major impact on a few people's lives. That's it.
I feel like you've
enough to
already
pass my knowledge
accomplished
down.
I mean, if that's your goal, you've already accomplished it. You've had a major impact on my life.
Aw,
You're my friend, and I have
you.
learned so much from you, and you've helped me grow as an artist. So you can go ahead and die now. And
Been on back a little bit.
no,
Oh, I
just
have
kidding.
way more information to share.
Oh shit. Okay, we got to keep you alive a little bit longer.
Let him get to the Deadly convention first, because I'm dying to hear some stories from that.
Yeah, that is going to be one hell of an awesome convention. Steve Moore is going to be there. James Tex, Anthony Tex, Chris Dunn, Phibbs will be there, so I'll get to catch up with him.
Rob.
Yep, Rob will be there.
Man, I want to get a tattoo from Steve Moore so bad, but I don't have any patches of skin left on my body large enough.
What about your back? Because he only works large areas.
Yeah, he only does, well, I think not just large areas, but like I think he only does like bodysuits now, right?
Well, large panels. So backs, sides.
I've got
sleeves.
like part of my shoulder blade and one of my butt cheeks covered. So that kind of would leave the panel with a couple of weird shaped cutouts.
Fair enough. I'm sure, he might be willing to work around those. But I mean, that would be a serious investment of time and money.
Would be. Yeah, true. But also he's just in like Vancouver, BC, right?
Yeah. So he's not too far away from you.
No, that's a day trip away. I could drive up there, get a hotel, stay for a couple of nights, do a couple back-to-back days. That wouldn't be, as far as travel costs, it wouldn't be too bad for me. But yeah, I guess I should start. I guess I should email him.
I would have your coworker take a couple of really good straight on pictures of your back, down to like, mid thigh or whatever, so that he can get an accurate idea of how much room you have to work with. Let him know that, you're open to any idea he might want to tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
That, you're not going to limit subject matter or anything. And
yeah, I know he's really into like nature, fantasy, full color, a lot of occult stuff too, which is right up my alley. So he's like the perfect artist for me. I could let him do anything he wants and I would be happy.
Yeah, like I love looking at his like mythological work.
Oh God, it's
and like his
beautiful.
fantasy work. Like you've seen the one Cyclops tattoo that he did, right?
I think so. How long ago was that?
I'm not positive, to be honest with you.
I
I
feel
think
like
that's
I
actually
saw.
on Christina Christie.
I
What
know
about
that
the
he's my one of my friends is getting a full bodysuit from him. Steve Moore. She hasn't gotten it worked on in a couple of years because kind of COVID ruined a bunch of stuff. But she's actually in the process of getting a bunch of other tattoos removed to make more room for Steve's work,
Yeah.
which is hella dedication. I'm insanely envious of that. I wish I would have thought about it before I got some work done. But I think if I don't add any more to my backside, I'll have enough room for Steve. Old Stevie. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
his
like
work, his oh fuck,
it's
he's
like
so
getting
good.
tattooed by James Tex, right? Like when you look at James Tex and you look at his work, it's all large scale for a reason. You know, every now and then you'll see him do something like a small banger, but 90% of the time it's because they're busy doing full back pieces.
That mammoth tattoo that Steve Moore did. I mean, I could close my eyes and see that thing. I just looked at that so many times.
Oh my goodness.
Like a mastodon or something like that, where the huge tusk just comes down and wraps all the way up and around the hip. And it's just incredible.
He truly has mastered the art and craft of tattooing.
Yeah.
What do you think if you could say, like, you know, I know we've knowing Guy and knowing the history of like his education and the stuff that he's written. I mean, you could debate, you know, the idea of flow and fit versus composition, right? Like how the composition fits the body or how well is the composition put together, right? Like the Japanese style tattooing, I think we talked about this before, where it's like the old way of tattooing there years ago, where it's like, you know, how it fits the body is almost more important than the tattoo itself.
You know, I think that the bigger you start to work as far as scale goes, the more you can start to move away from how is this going to fit on the body, simply because the bigger you go, say you're working on someone's like entire back from neck to knees, right? Well, that image that you're working on, that back piece from neck to knees, that's not meant to be viewed close up. You're meant to view that from several feet away so that you can actually see all of it at one time.
Sure.
When you get to starting to work in areas that large, you start to lose the aspect that you're looking at a human body.
That's what I
So
love.
then I would argue, does it really matter at that point if you're working that large, how well it contours the body? Because you're starting to move away from the concept of looking at a human body.
That's a good point. Now, also, you know, considering that, you know, the body's always in motion, even when it's standing still, right? There's all this movement and everything to it, though. So we got to think about that. How, you know, you're viewing it as, you know, like those pieces that go all the way across from one thigh to the other, like you were saying, up the back and everything. And you're looking at a background that carries from one leg over to the other leg. But if you were to look at just the one leg by itself, does that leg, whatever subject matter from that larger piece, whatever small portion of the subject matter is contained on that leg, does it stand on its own as a good tattoo? Can you see just that one leg and go, oh, that's an awesome tattoo. That's great. It fits well. It looks great. But then coupled with the rest of it, oh my God, now it's moving into something completely different and much larger. You know, making each individual part of the piece work, right? Like with a sleeve, a composition on a sleeve, you got to consider that, you know, people are going to see it from the back of the arm and maybe only from the back of the arm at certain points.
Right.
So what's on the back of the arm that's interesting? Does it move properly? Does it get too stiff, or does it bring your eyes around to the front? Does it stand alone as a good piece just on the back of the arm by itself? It's like those pieces you'll see, like where somebody has like a giant dragon head coming across their torso, and they happen to have like one of the dragon claws up on their arm, their deltoid. And just by itself, if they didn't take their shirt off and you only saw the dragon claw up on the arm, you're like, yes, that's a beautiful tattoo. That works. Not even knowing that it's part of a larger piece.
Right. So, I mean, I guess, I would have to say that, yes, you are correct. Like, composition and placement on the body are two very critical things when it does come down to the overall, I believe, aesthetic. So I would agree with that. I think there has to be a harmonious balance between the two, and that you have to consider one and the other in order to pull off a successful design.
I agree.
I think most people out there are not working neck to knees, torso pieces or full back pieces or anything like that. 90% of people out there are not working that large. That is a very small, very elite, select few artists in the world that are doing that on a regular basis, that have really mastered kind of that scale of tattooing. But for the rest of us, I think there's a very delicate balance that you have to achieve, and there's definite considerations you need to remember when it comes down to, designing your composition and the area of the body in which it's going. So I can definitely see that aspect.
Yeah, it's a healthy debate to have, even like with yourself, if you're drawing up a piece, just to always consider those things. And like you said, you have to have that harmonious balance. It's like with the idea of drawing large scale pieces small, you do a thumbnail and you just do positive and negative shapes just to see how everything works, and then kind of go from there.
Absolutely. Well, that's an old Japanese tattoo artist trick. I think I was reading an interview with Horitomo where he said, yeah, he draws all of his back pieces on 4x6 index cards.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if it works on that scale, it's going to work when you blow it up.
Exactly. And
so
by drawing that small.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good, man. You're good.
It's attacking. I feel like you're attacking the composition. I mean, attacking the fit more than the composition, like the layout, right? Or the composition of positive and negative shapes and the relations of that. But you're not focused on like, well, I want the fish head I want the koi head to go this way, or I want the hand to be over here. You're just looking at like, how is this going to look from across the street, right? Like,
right.
You're probably, and that's going back to what you were saying, Jason. It's like maybe it does have less to do with how it fits on the body compared to what shapes are the most important, what's dominant in the composition itself, not how does it sit, because you could have it sit many different ways. You could eliminate the idea of it being on a torso simply by having it sweep from one side of the body to the other. And now you're treating the body like it's just a one canvas,
Right. Well, and I think a lot of that comes down to the conversation that you have with the person getting tattooed.
Sure.
Is that what they're going for? Is their aesthetic, is their desire and their goal to have one big badass tattoo? Or is it, oh, well, maybe later on I want to get something done on my legs. Don't quite know yet. So let's try to hold off on doing anything down that far just yet. And it's like, okay, not a problem.
Are you telling me that you consider what your clients actually want?
I do, very much so. As much as I completely disregard what they tell me, I do at least pretend to consider it. It's like, so what you're telling me is you want a big skull, right? By small little butterfly, you're saying I want a big skull on my throat.
Big skull.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
I'm leading you down that way.
Oh, you want an infinity sign? Cool. You're getting a skull.
I don't mind doing infinity signs. I could do those all day. They are easy, they pay their rent, and they are always, always, always line work practice.
You can do 12 infinity signs in a day without breaking a sweat and pay your bills for the month.
Yep. And by the end of the day, your lines are going to be crispier than a mummy at a barbecue.
Very, very true. Yeah, I call those bill payers.
Those are the rent checks.
Yep.
I do want to do more skulls, but right now I'm having a lot of clients that want flowers, which is great. I love doing flowers too.
I will tattoo flowers all day long. I love that stuff.
Flowers are easy and fun. I want to start steering more clientele, and I want to get whatever I can get, I want to tattoo everything, but I definitely need to be doing more skulls in my life. I think I want to do more skulls. I'm just going to make more skull flash, and hopefully that helps.
It will. If
Usually
you draw
does,
it, they will get it.
It usually does. Whenever you put that stuff out there, it's almost instantaneous. You see the return on something like that. You invest that kind of time into putting something together. Within a month, you're tattooing something from it.
Like I was talking to my friend out in Malaysia. He does, great tattoos. But I noticed, and I remember hitting him up and talking to him the one night, and I was like, I've noticed you do a lot of like small and medium-sized tattoos, man. I'm like, what do you want to do large scale work? Or like, is that what you're really trying to go towards? And you're just trying to stick with doing smaller stuff? Because, different people have different preferences. So I'm just kind of curious.
What's that? Yeah, you're trying to put it.
And he's like, dude, I don't know. I would love to do large scale work. I don't know how to get people to get it done. And I said, well, do you have anything large scale drawn up, hanging up in the studio? He said, no. And I said, okay, well, there's your first problem. If you draw it, they will get it.
Yes.
Have a couple of large pieces hanging up that you want to do. Have a couple of medium pieces hanging up that you want to do. Have a couple of sleeves, a couple of small little bangers. If you put it up in the studio, when someone comes in to get something done, they'll see it and they'll want to get it. I can guarantee it.
Shout out to the guys at Powerline Tattoo who do that often. Andy and Andre and Evan putting together compositions in Procreate, posting the process, the time-lapse video of the process, and just kind of casting the fishing line out there. Hey, availability to get this particular piece done. And within a day, they always say, oh, sold, design's been sold. I'm watching them do that now for a couple months, and it's very inspiring.
You know who also does that? Only they don't post the designs or the process? Teresa Sharp.
Awesome.
Yeah, doesn't she go through her process of clients by saying, I want to do this. Who wants it?
Yeah, she has a list of ideas that she keeps as a rolling list of stuff that she wants to do. She never shows the artwork. She just has a list of stuff she wants to do and says, okay, if you want to get this done, go through, fill out the form. And basically by filling out the form, that's her vetting process. So like she'll go through and that's how she vets, who she tattoos. It's when you're signing up to get tattooed by her, it's a very long, very expensive process. And she's not even going to show you the artwork until you've put a very substantial deposit down, because that's your commitment, right? But that's what she does. She tattoos what she wants to tattoo, and that's it. And people see her work, they love her work, and so they have no problems doing it.
What's her name again?
Teresa
Teresa
Sharp.
Okay. I'll check her out.
She was one of the presenters at this year's Explorer Conference in Philadelphia,
Nice.
and absolutely phenomenal talk. In fact, to the point that I would love to get her on here one day and interview her, and just pick her brain about a few things I had questions about,
Awesome.
you know, and how she got to be where she is. Because during her talk that she gave at the Explorer Conference, she did actually mention reinventing the tattoo.
Oh, awesome.
And how she picked up that book way back when, and it like changed her life.
Absolutely.
So it's like, okay, well, maybe you want to come in and do a little interview for us. That could be cool. So I think I might reach out to her to see if she wants to, you know, maybe come in, teach a section, or like get on and do like a little guest interview, or a little drunk critique thing, or, you know, just see if she wants to be, you know, play a bit of an active role in what, you know, with everything that she's got going on right now. Why not, right?
That's the way to
Worst
do
she
it.
can say is no.
I have got to start.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to start getting ready. I got to go to work. So thank you guys for your amazing insight. I'm going to head out.
See you later.
You are very welcome. Take care and have fun doing all those mom heart tattoos today.
Oh yeah, that's today. Yep. Oh yeah, and I got to call my mom. Thanks for the reminder. All right, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
You do the same. Take care and be safe.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
And then there were two.
Right? As usual.
Winding down for the day.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna block in the rest of this dark gold leaf, and then because I get gold paint everywhere. And then I'm probably going to call it a day.
Awesome.
I've been trying not to paint as fast lately because I've realized that, you know, I should probably like take my time and really stretch it out and enjoy the process a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. When's the next time you're going to see Guy to work on your leg?
No idea yet.
Haven't gotten that far.
No, right now I'm just looking at like, okay, what am I doing through the end of June?
Yeah.
You know, and then we have to sit down and talk about Hell City. You know, maybe I don't know if you wanted to do like Ohio or Phoenix or both or whatever.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, but we got to sit down. We'll start planning that out, getting that together. If you want to work any other shows this year, like I haven't even started thinking about Philadelphia next year, but that would be awesome to work next to each other. Or, you know, instead of getting 2 booths, maybe I'll get 3 and, you know, come and hang out with me and the boys.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. We'll go over some things for sure. See what we got. I'm excited.
Oh, also, before Philadelphia, I may have a booth spot opening up, and I haven't even gotten the paperwork yet on this, but just putting the bug in your ear now. I'm not sure how your Decembers usually are, but maybe you would want to come and work Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. When in December?
Don't even know yet. They haven't even announced the dates yet.
Okay. December's kind of tough. My daughter's birthday is December 6th. But there's still a little bit of time between then and Christmas. So
right.
I didn't even know they did a show out there like that.
They do. It's usually put on by Fibs and Yalsey.
Okay.
They've had quite a number of very high caliber artists that work at that show. Guys like James Tex will fly down and work at it. Joe Bosco was there one year. I mean, Dave Tevenall was there a couple of times.
Nice.
You know, so some pretty decent guys, a couple of guys from Europe, a couple of guys from the US. It's a very small personal show. It's not one that you would go to really make a whole bunch of money. It's definitely more of an artist retreat.
More of that experience.
Right. But being able to go and network with these guys and watch them work, get tattooed by guys like Curtis Burgess, who Dennis Smythe got tattooed by the one year. He was sitting around, wasn't really all that busy, took a lap around, and Curtis was there. He wasn't doing anything. So Dennis sat down, got tattooed by Curtis.
Awesome. Way to do it.
So there's usually, I usually work it with Dennis and my friend Devin.
Okay.
And Devin's super neo-trad. And you know Dennis. So
Yeah.
Dennis is a bit more of a traditional guy, super clean work, very low key, under the radar kind of guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a good dude. Great artist.
Yeah, but I'm always looking to kind of expand my friend zone down there, and invite different artists that I know are just as serious about tattooing and of
Awesome.
a high enough caliber to work at that show and be responsible about it.
Oh yeah, man.
Because it's very selective about who they invite to work at the show.
Okay.
And who they allow to actually be a part of it. They're very, very selective about it.
Okay.
So it's a very heavily curated show, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you even considering me. That's awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of shop talk to catch up on for sure.
That we do, my friend. That we do. We also have to figure out a time for me to head out there so I can film you.
Oh yeah, we'll plan that out. I get a good project lined up for it. Now, do you film that all day and then condense it after, or is it a live feed? Like, how does that?
Both.
Nice.
Yeah, as I'm going through and I'm doing a live stream, I'll set something up where I'm recording it onto an external hard drive so that I can go through after the fact and edit it if need be.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's always a good time. I usually try to do like a 3 or a 4 camera shoot. So I can get every possible angle that I might ever need.
Nice. We got a big open space here, so that'll be easy for you to get to. Awesome.
Cool. Well, let's go through. I'm going to do a quick little sign off.
Sounds good.
Let me just smooth this little spot out real quick.
Show you what I got going on here. That painting looks good, man. You're peeling right through that thing, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's crazy because once you do it the first time, doing it the second time is usually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me go through. I'll spotlight you for a second.
Take this off.
Do that.
Flip my camera around.
There you go. Let's take a look, man. Oh, that's nice, dude.
All right. Let me see. Turn your arm a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So rocks back side and then rotate all the way to the inside here. Getting it done.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Love those finger waves.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. One of my favorite things to draw.
I know, right? Why don't you go through and tell us how we can get a hold of you and where you're working at?
You can find me at Baker Street Tattoo and Media or the Gallery Tattoo Studio in Concord, Massachusetts. Follow me on Instagram at Seth Mushrush. or check out my website, sethmushrushart.com. I have paintings and stuff like that up there, not just tattoos. So check it out, and I will see you next time we do this, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right. See you later, man.
All right. Take care. And for those of you joining us today, this has been Skill Building Sunday with me, Jason Leeser, hosted every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time here at the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Thank you for joining us today. As always, if you liked the content, if you liked what you heard, if you found it valuable in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. That lets us know that we're doing a good job and that you want to see more of it. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and hopefully we catch you again next Sunday.